So before we move on to the workstations, I thought I'd just talk a little bit about the OHS and in WRS. So before students participate in the workstation, they're required to do a unit of an OHS unit. And for this year, we asked the students to develop a board game. And I'm just going to give you a little look at that board game now. So first of all, we asked them to investigate a board game. And you can see here that they went down to the shop, they bought a board game, they're playing the board game, they're looking at the structure of how the board game, I guess, works. It gave them the opportunity to look at the literacy that was used in the board game. They're working again as a team. There's written reflections on what they think about the board game and how this might then be moved or transferred into a board game that they are going to create themselves. And the board game will be used to help others learn OHS. And as you can see through the digital photographs, we're capturing the learning, and this is all going to come together towards the end of the presentation in the showcase that I spoke about earlier. So here's one of our Year 12 students, and he's creating his board game, and you can see that he's cutting the pieces out, and he's making it himself, so it's quite an engaging concept. There's the completed board game, and again, that photograph will be displayed at the showcase. And here it is with the board game. He's taught a whole group of students to play that board game. Obviously, there is a level of teacher support in the creation, but really it's owned by the students. So now I'd like to talk about the actual workstation. So the students are now, they're clued up on OHS, but it's going to be ongoing. So students are given the opportunity to participate in 4 workstations across our learning environment. We've got a catering workstation, an industry workstation, a grounds maintenance workstation, and a textiles workstation. And I'll tell you a little bit about these workstations as we go on. Catering, just like as in hospitality, there's baking, preparing food for a local school canteen. So it is an education enterprise. They obviously have to have safe food handling and hygiene certificate. They manage to inflate lunch orders, which brings in the numeracy component of the VCAL. They order from suppliers, bringing in literacy, communication skills, etc., social skills for customer service. And again, capturing this and assessing this learning, I guess, the world of digital photography and what have you is so great for us because we can capture their learning as we go along. So here you can see the students are learning how to make muffins, I think they are, and the recipes on the counter, and you can sort of have a look at the process. And this is all shown to the parents at the end of the year and throughout different stages of the year. So I thought that step-by-step process, photo by photo, it's such a simple tool to use, but it's very, very effective. So these guys are about to learn how to ice a cake. So the trainer was explaining to them in the last slide what was happening. He was giving a demonstration. And then you can see the student at work. You'll notice up above the blackboard there are some keys. We are what is called You Can Do It School, the Keys to Success, which is a values program. If you have not heard about it, it was developed for senior secondary school students entering into BCE many years ago by Michael Bernard, and it's been taken on, I guess, by the primary school education sector, but it was primarily developed as a values program for the senior schools. And look, it's a terrific way to get the students engaged. And there you can see all the students have been able to achieve that learning outcome. Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought I was throwing a bit of literacy there. This is the industry workstation, and you can see here the students have to sign in. And so I guess it's just like going to work, but it is in a simulated environment, and it's fairly well supported. So here the students are learning how to sign in, they're putting their times, they have to sign out, and breaks they take, they need to sign in, etc. So it's following employability skills, and what we're hoping at the end is they'll transfer these skills into their part-time casual work, etc. We work with, just to give you a little bit of an idea, we work with Waverley Industries, Marriott Support Services, and they're what we call support business services. Throughout school, the industry students are responsible for the newsletters. They learn office skills, so they might be in the office answering the phones. They are responsible for the busy recycling, and they also learn car detailing. This is the grounds maintenance crew. Now, obviously, I realise as many of you are ACE providers that perhaps you may not have horticulture at your fingertips. However, if you go out into your local areas, you're probably bound to find a local community garden that you might be able to do something like this at. So all of these, I guess the photographs are capturing what the students are doing. There are many different tools that we get the students to use throughout the year, including self-reflection, graphic organisers and things like that. But we find the most effective way for our parents to see that the students are learning is through photographs. And again, very simple. We do have the cleanest sandpit in Melbourne, yes.
I just want to ask a question about the workstations. Do all the students have a turn at each workstation?
Yeah, they do. They are rotated over a 2-year time frame. There's 4 workstations, there's 1 per semester. They go through each workstation. And there you can see these guys, they probably do not look dissimilar to some of the students that you might be working with, but they certainly learn through applied learning. They like to think that they'll be able to do this and a lot of theoretical placements at universities, but we have lots of SSGs around that. This workstation is what we call textiles, so it's again an enterprise business, and students learn employability skills, and by making chair bags and lighter bags, and they canvas, and they are sold across the state of Victoria, across the country, and we have a couple of international clients as well. And you can see the learning that happens here is off campus, so it's a satellite of annex, and it's almost that next step of moving out away from the educational setting into the wider world of work. Again, it is fairly heavily teacher supported. Our students learn through a range of styles, but certainly, task analysis, step by step, is a great way for our students to learn. So I guess that the workstations, they do assist in developing employability skills, and our aim for the students and their aim is that they will be able to transfer those skills into employment. We work with Disability Employment Services, which are DESTs, to help place students in employment. We also had our own vocational pathways coordinator who will also assist the students to gain part-time work. We encourage the students to stay at school for as long as possible. We have some students who have gone on to apprenticeships. The majority of students may go to work at Coles, KFC, those sorts of things. But we do bring in the desks every now and again to help support that process. However, we do a lot of it on our own. So I guess when I first started at Ashwood, which was 7 years ago, I had been capturing assessment at the current school, which then was Port Phillip, for a few years, and going to a lot of QA and network meetings and learning that, okay, I don't need to do a diagnostic test. I can start to branch out and do, capture assessment in other ways. So one of the things that when I got to Ashwood was that we had to induct the staff on how to capture assessment because, they were still thinking, no, we have to make sure that they, answer a test, a written test, those sorts of older ways of assessing. And I want to show you everything that we did. We took a whole day to teach the staff how to learn how to use digital photographs. They weren't, all storyboard. So it's not only just the students, but it's also the staff. We have to get them on board in looking at different ways of assessing. We brought in a lot of thinking tools and graphic organisers, digital tools, and the showcase celebration. And of course, there's always a lot of creative thinking, so if you've got any ideas, it's best to have a bit of a chat about them with your colleagues.